Just that the only time she can't really get mad at me is when Resident Evil's out. But let's check out Starfield.
This video is sponsored by Opera GX. The year is 2023, and for Bethesda Game Studios, it's the final sprint. The culmination of hundreds of millions of dollars and a quarter century of work. And for hundreds of people, almost a decade of full-scale production is about to materialize. Starfield is releasing on the 6th of September, and Todd Howard's magnum opus.
I will say I have played this, but I've never progressed the story. As soon as I got my ship, I just kind of just like fucked off and did my own thing. I have I think 30 hours on this game, just like being evil and killing everything. But I do want to play through this as like the Star Wars mod.
Will be upon us. In 2018, Fallout 76 reviews have come in, and they're not too hot. Fallout 4 is a few years before, not amazing either. Todd's once perfectly polished image is now getting torn to shreds. The people, they're like wild animals. But he remains unfazed.
Rightfully so, because they've not released a good game in a while.
Will change. Starfield is Todd Howard's dream game. Something he'd wanted to make since he was a kid, and Bethesda had waited patiently for the technology to arrive to make it.
I will throw out this major complaint. This is my major complaint for Starfield, and I don't know who to blame for this. I don't know if it's Todd Howard. My number one complaint that I don't think they will ever fix is why was there no aliens, like talkable aliens? It was all humans. That was like kind of boring. And they have like the Fallout style with like ghouls and super mutants that talk. Why was there no aliens? I'm not talking like Star Wars level, but like a different species in the game.
And now was the time. By this point, Todd has also amassed an army of around 500 people. They span multiple countries and 4 whole studios. The manpower here, sizable. And they're going in big. Voiced protagonists. Something they'd spent a ton of time and money on, and turned out to be one of the biggest complaints of their last mainline game. Let's bring it back. And at the start of Starfield's development, Bethesda's design lead and head writer Emil Paliarulo goes on to cast voice actors and record lines. He's even weighing having multiple voice actors this time round. However, early on in development, higher-ups come to a realization. Bethesda had been taking an unrelenting stream of L's for a few years now. Starfield, well, it should probably deliver. So they decide on a change of pace, and to actually take in some fan feedback. And the voiced protagonist thing is scrapped entirely. The game engine too, historically a notoriously robust bit of kit. And as brilliant as it is, fans have been quite vocal about wanting a better one for almost a decade. So they get working on that too. Also, RPG elements.
I don't really care if like your main character in Bethesda games even talk. I just care if like they don't look so dead in the face of the NPCs.
Well, they're actually adding some here. Behind the scenes, things are looking good. 2021, 5 years of active development, and the game is beginning to take shape. Bethesda's parent company ZeniMax has also just been bought out by Microsoft, and money is now no object. Microsoft wants a system seller, and Todd's only job is to deliver one. They have all the resources they could possibly want. And on the 13th of June, Todd marches on stage, and we get our first look. Wow. Their first new IP in 25 years. The ultimate Bethesda game, Todd says. And after years of groveling for a new engine, we get our wish. The Creation Engine 2. Okay, people aren't massively thrilled, but this is groundbreaking stuff, Todd insists. And there it is. One of Todd's crazy dates again. May 22nd, 2022. Around 7 months out from launch, and that's out the window, because the game's delayed. Come back in early 2023. The disappointment is palpable. But in June, Todd's on stage again, and we hear some familiar lines.
Our most ambitious game ever, where you get to be who you want and go where you want.
Not again. But then, we get a glimpse at the actual gameplay for the first time. Deep crafting systems, weapon mods, buildable outposts, even your own spaceships. Wait, we can even fly them? Land and explore anywhere? Over 100 systems? Over 1,000 planets. My god. Also, were those background options and traits in a Bethesda game? A silent protagonist is back? Were they actually listening? Starfield was going to be an actual RPG, a true return to form. The reveal doesn't come without concerns, however. The performance, it doesn't look great. In fact, you can see the game barely holding it together at parts.
No.
The gunplay and dogfighting.
This game ran like ass at launch.
Fighting look a bit stiff, and 1,000 planets. Either another sweet lie, or this game sounds very procedural. Todd hears the concerns. Don't worry. Starfield has more handcrafted content than ever before. More than Skyrim and Fallout 4 combined, he assures us. He doesn't give any solid figures though. For some reason, Todd says he's stopped giving out numbers.
16 times.
It's now March 2023. The game should be releasing in just a few months. But no. Game's delayed again. Come back in September 2023. Summer 2023. Todd returns to the stage again, and this time, he's brought almost an hour of gameplay with him. The game looks a lot more polished. We also hear some more familiar lines.
That isn't just a backdrop. That moon is actually there orbiting the planet. Yes, you can visit it too. That mountain is...
People used Todd's like words with that so against him when they found out you can't land on a gas planet. And I'm just like, how dumb are you? You realistically can't land on a gas planet.
not just a backdrop. You can walk all the way to the top of that mountain.
September 6th is now about 3 months away, so Todd and the boys put on some fresh kicks. It's time for some interviews. Washington Post, GQ, Esquire, the man is everywhere. Todd's like a playboy. The marketing machine is now in full frenzy, and lots of totally normal articles are being released.
What the hell is even that?
He's Christopher Nolan. Todd Howard is to games what Tom Cruise is to cinema. He cackles when I suggest this theory to him.
That wouldn't stop people from trying. Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure people did try, but it was just like the stupid thing of just like, you made the claim of you can land on any planet, but realistically you can't land on gas planets because like that's impossible. You'll explode. You'll explode and die. Although I will say, probably I did mod this game for like a little bit. The first mod I downloaded was a Waffle House on the Earth, and Earth was just like a barren wasteland, and it was so funny finding only a working Waffle House. But just kind of like prove how much like people don't know about space stuff. They're just like, well, why can't we land on gas planets? Like just land on a rock or something. Like my god, Twitter went like crazy on this crap. Implode, yeah. That's what would happen to him.
Slight, boyishly handsome, sharp-jawed.
I wonder if I should play this. Like just download all the Star Wars stuff.
Classical antiquity. He's become a semi-mythical figure to gamers. Now 52 years old, the only real sign of him being flesh and bone are some faint bags under his sea blue eyes. He's reserved, but not at all shy. Talkative, but never all that forthcoming. Okay. He even posts on Reddit. Fans are increasingly excited. It's like Todd's doing a victory lap here. Whatever they've cooked up over in Maryland, it's good. Turns out, They've had just about every QA person at Xbox on it, and they're saying it's the least buggy game in Bethesda's history. 500 developers, $400 million. Almost a decade in development. Out the way, Halo. This is Microsoft's new system seller. Emil says it's the best game they've ever made. Todd even compares it to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Probably has more of a feeling of like a Red Dead 2, right? Like I'm living.
I'm so sick and tired of everybody comparing everything to Red Dead 2. It's the stupidest thing ever. Like, one of the reviews I saw for Resident Evil 9 was people literally bitching about walking up and down stairs between Red Dead Redemption 2 and Resident Evil 9. It's so annoying. I'm just tired of seeing it.
The Western fantasy.
Yeah.
And so
Other developers are trembling in fear at the release date, and games like Baldur's Gate 3 have shifted theirs back by more than a month just to avoid crossing paths. The masters of the RPG had checked out for a while, but on September 6th, Daddy's coming home. Before that, do you browse the internet? And are you using insert generic internet browser here? The grey colour scheme. Generic corporate design. My god. Opera GX makes browsing online fun. The perks are numerous. Trying to watch a video uninterrupted, or mid-fight and sick of intrusions? How about complete uninterruption? Because Opera GX is equipped with formidable ad blocking technology.
Not anymore. I hate to pause during his ad. If we're watching this video for free, but like, I know people that use Opera GX, they still have the ad blocker, but they have toned it way the fuck down. Like, it does not work anymore. Like, it's only presentable on like a handful of stuff.
Video pop-outs, so you can watch entertainment or important news updates at all times. A sidebar filled with music and media to ensure dopamine flows at all times. And added privacy and cross-continental IP addresses with their free VPN. Also, sick of your friends and family walking in during some late night reading? Hit the panic button and your tabs are hidden. Most browsers have limited customization.
Yeah, I don't use Opera's ad blocker.
Color scheme there.
From my understanding, and I'm basing this off of what Peggy told me. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Of like, the ad blocker still is there, but it turned into like such a hellhole. It does not work anymore. Like, it is really selective now. Because apparently, like, a month or two, they did an update to their entire thing. And the update broke so much, and it changed so much of, like, the rule settings. It also did, like, reset a lot of settings. Opera's free VPN is not very good. It's extremely laggy. I want to figure the VPN was like the one good thing, because that's the only thing Peggy did like praise about it.
Wealth of options. It even has a mod page. Peruse the aisles, and the choices are almost limitless. Witcher, Halo, Dark Souls, other stuff. Animated wallpapers, keyboard and tab sounds, unique splash screens. Almost everything is completely customizable. Oh my. There's even a custom Big Boss mod.
Oh my god.
You can also mix and match multiple mods to create the perfect mix. Or create your own. Opera GX can be whatever you want. Can't be bothered to migrate everything over? Well, it's equipped with a state-of-the-art...
Oh my god.
A few clicks, and your browsing history, bookmarks, and cookies, they're all here. It's also compatible.
It's nice to have, but it's very laggy for me.
Is good.
Oh god, I paused it with Groot pointing a gun at me. Oh my god.
You should install it right now through this link.
I will say, like, a lot of the features that Opera does have does sound good, but like there's like things I'm concerned about it. Like the mod side of it is like there's more and more like mod websites out there, and a lot of times they don't work with each other. Like what's the mod thing for Ready or Not? I think it's mod.io. That is a very buggy mod like site. And Ready or Not, God, I love the game, but it's just I don't know why they only allow mod.io. Like they don't even allow Thunderstore. And Thunderstore is used a lot for, especially for Repo and Lethal Company. Me, I'm a big fan of Nexus and Vortex just because it's easy. Thunderstore, it's there. I really only use it for those two games, but it's just like, I don't know. But like a lot of the other stuff of like the always playing like browser thing, like I feel like that still eats up like your computer. It's kind of the reason why I'm not really like a big fan of like Wallpaper Engine. Just because like it took me like a few months to realize that Wallpaper Engine is eating up a lot of like your process stuff. And that was something I remember I had to talk about with G. Because like at one point in time, the first time we played through Baldur's Gate, we were like questioning what is eating up G's like CPU. This was with her previous PC, not her current one. That she had Wallpaper Engine going up, and of course, like we all have multiple screens. She had like different videos for her Wallpaper Engine per monitor, which ate up a lot of shit.
Midnight, 6th of September, 2023. Starfield is set for launch, and people jump into Bethesda's first new IP in 25 years. At first, Starfield is met with rave reviews, 88 on Metacritic, and a ton of 10 out of 10s coming in. It's amazing. A near perfect space game. But a few hours in, and some time
Holy shit, 3,000
slowly
hours.
begin to change. The performance. On PC, there's a bit of chop.
Why did you not optimize this game for PC?
We did. It's running great. It is a next-gen...
Oh, Phil looks so
Really
pissed.
push the technology. We did. It's running great.
He was laughing away the pain. He did what Mr. Beast does, is like he smiles away the pain of just like, why didn't you do this? God damn it.
It is a next-gen PC game. We really do push the technology, so you may need to upgrade your PC for this game.
The system requirements, quite demanding. The game requires an SSD to run, and yet, space has never been this choppy.
We might run into some chop. Chop? We could fucking handle chop, right? I mean, it's
$3,000 PC.
No, we're not going anywhere unless he says it's safe, all right?
Don't worry about the chop. You don't know shit about chop.
Oh, really? And you do? You're a fucking expert on
I'll chop your fucking credit card in half. How about that?
Even on NASA tier PCs, low FPS, and massive frame drops. Also, AMD sponsored the game, and conveniently, Intel and Nvidia parts are specifically struggling. There's also no
To be fair, I'm not a big fan of Intel. Especially like they're like, I'm assuming they're on like a third generation, but their the Intel, I think it's 11 and 12, did not run very well, and it caused a lot of like crashing. And people always would tell me, oh, Intel's better than AMD, and I always disagreed. I always disagree. Intel is just like a small bit better, but like their CPUs just were fucking awful.
Nvidia DLSS in the game, something that modders are able to patch in within hours. On Xbox, things are a bit more consistent, but even then, Todd's chained us down to just 30 FPS, even on the $500 Series X. That
Oof.
30 FPS is also the target FPS. That's what it's aiming for, and not always what it's hitting. Walk into a city like New Atlantis, and that number dribbles down to the low 20s.
What the fuck is this piece?
And that city was
This
empty.
is on a AAA game, on a barely 3-year-old console, in the year 2023, when most other big games can run at 120 FPS. The head of Xbox says it's a creative decision. So far, the console Metacritic is just about hanging on, but for PC, it's bombs away. Spared the horrific performance and actually managed to run the game? Well, there is some good stuff here. For the first time in a modern Bethesda game, Physics are no longer tied to frame rate. You can now uncap it without causing horrific issues with jump height, movement speed, enemies, and objects. The shipbuilding is great. The gun mods are pretty good. There's some RPG elements here, and for a Bethesda game, a relatively bug-free launch. Far less game-breaking issues and corrupt save files.
I think this was
There's
like
even
after
graphics
76.
That's the good. And then there's everything else. Starfield was conceived 25 years ago, trademarked a decade ago, and started full development 8 years ago. And the final game had come out the other side, severely lacking.
It's an embarrassment.
In a lot of ways, it's one of their most bare-bones games yet. Incredibly basic things are just missing. The FOV slider. Fallout 76 had one. Fallout 4 had one. A simple text file change in the game files allows Starfield to have one, so why wasn't it in the game? There's no ultra-wide monitor support, no HDR on PC, there's not even any images on the save files. There's
Oh
also no
yeah, I
brightness,
remember that.
contrast, or gamma sliders of any kind. This is on a game that looks horrifically washed out. Dodgy TV or monitor? Unlucky, son. This is what your game looks like. An in-game calendar? Nope. Your start date is May the 7th, 2330. So if you want to know what day it is, you'll just have to keep track yourself. There was a calendar in Elder Scrolls Arena back in 1994. There's also no in-game map. Again, Arena had this in 1994. Simply no longer possible. Technological marvels, lost to the sands of time.
I'm trying to think if this was during 23. This might have been around the time that even Battlefield 2042 got like a lot of shit for not even having a scoreboard. So I think they were like kind of used to the idea of just like not having basic features.
And despite multiple delays and intense QA testing, the game still quite buggy.
You can do pretty much anything.
Blast his crotch. I've not come across any of this whenever I played, but then again I did a bunch of other shit.
You do explore differently in this game.
The fuck?
We want you to feel hopeful. We want you to feel this sense of awe and wonder. And sometimes a little fear.
Oh my god.
Now it would take probably 4, 5, 6 loading screens to get to my ship from the top of Neon. The amount of loading screens is disgusting.
Oh yeah.
Should be exciting and dangerous.
We always put so much care into all those little details that breathe life into our worlds.
Yeah, you can't knock stuff around.
Our biggest goal for lighting was to make the game feel more filmy, to use lighting and color.
My god,
to
my
make it
eyes.
feel more cinematic.
Really like to change my ship right now. That'd be great. It's too bad that the NPC is up there.
Outside of the game itself, Starfield launched with a $300 collector's edition. This included
Oh yeah, it had a watch.
some art, and a box. But centerpiece, an electronic watch. And turns out, a ton of these are already breaking. Alright, pretty poor effort, but none of that matters. Modders patch most of it in a matter of days. What does matter is the actual game.
But
And Todd and
the
boys
modders did
have
give up.
created entire star systems to explore here. And turns out, he wasn't lying. There actually are over 1,000 planets. Spaceships, space flight, all in a Bethesda game with the same bones as Morrowind. This thing was a miracle. We had unparalleled freedom to explore here. And after clearing the first mission, players board their ship and set course for the stars. They could fly anywhere.
Except if you don't have the fuel.
Hold on. Set course? Was that loading screens? Surely we could actually fly to planets in this massive space exploration RPG. Some spend hours attempting this, and turns out, no. No, you can't. Because planets in this game are literally just massive JPEGs floating around in an empty sky box. That's space.
Dude, that's completely flat. That's 100% flat,
That's
dude.
what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
My God, flat
You
planets.
can't land on them. You can't even get to them without hours of your life gone. Manage that, and you'll just phase through them.
That moon is actually there. Yes, you can visit it too.
Want to actually explore space in this space exploration?
You gotta scan
Well,
it.
that'll involve digging through layers of horrifically organized interstellar maps, and then bearing multiple rounds of cutscenes and loading screens to get anywhere. Exciting stuff. Can't fly in atmosphere, can't take off from planets. That's another loading screen too. People are over the moon. There's also overly drawn out animations every time you get in and out the cockpit, and dock onto ships and stations.
Yeah, it's all the
These
same. It
covers
gets
the loading
annoying.
screens. They're just long, unskippable animations, just for the sake of it. Want to be immersive and actually fly around? Well, thankfully, we have options. You can get into the cockpit, long animation, launch into orbit, cutscene and loading screen, and then use the ship's targeting system to pick a planet with a quest marker on, cutscene and another loading screen. But why do all of that when it's 10 times longer than fast traveling from the menu? And why even have a ship if you're just going to use the menu? There are some random encounters in space. Pirates, bounty hunters, contraband scans, unique events. However, space combat isn't great, and all of these are completely avoidable by instantly fast traveling somewhere else. Bethesda also never bothered to add a system that tracks and prevents repeat encounters, so be prepared to hear a lot of the same space shanties.
Oh, that would... Did that happen? I don't remember.
Okay. Space, a pretty big part of an open world space exploration game, pretty much non-existent. But it's okay still. This is a Bethesda game. Their strong suit has always been on for exploration and world building. Once we actually land on these planets, there'd be an overwhelming amount of things to do.
God, you would think so.
More handcrafted content than Skyrim and Fallout 4 combined, Todd said. We could land anywhere. Explore entire planets. So fumble through the menus again, and after 2 cutscenes and 3 loading screens, players land and emerge onto their first new planet in the settled systems. Huh? Where is everything?
You have
Okay,
3 locations.
Check the map.
Oh, 4.
What
I'm
on
sorry.
earth is that? A bug? A rendering error, perhaps? No. Turns out, that's just how they designed it. Okay, let's put that back. Luckily, there's a scanner we can use. And it looks like there's a few undiscovered locations in the distance we can head to.
But they're all the
hundreds of
same.
meters away. That could take a while, so best get out the rover. Wait, there's no rover. Bethesda designed a planetary exploration game without a readable map or a land vehicle. Okay, running it is.
I think there is vehicles now, because I remember I read an update that they added vehicles, and that was like one of the things with the Star Wars mods, is like they put in a lot of Star Wars vehicles.
The world looks good. Bethesda has nailed the lighting in Skybox, and there's some interesting creatures, natural formations dotted about, alien dung piles to sift through, and a few old facilities to explore. This particular planet has an abandoned cryolab, a UC listening station, a relay station, and an occupied cave. Not sure why the abandoned facilities are full of enemies, but occupied caves are completely empty. But anyway, wow. There's even some of that old Bethesda environmental storytelling here.
Random dead bodies with
But
stories.
It's time to take off and head to another planet.
It's the same damn thing.
Hold on. Is that identical formations, the same creatures, the exact same cryolab? The building layout, enemies, spawn placements, even down to dead bodies, notes, and terminal entries. Everything about this place, the exact same. The game has over 1,000 planets and 120 star systems, and Bethesda decided to just sprinkle the exact same 100 locations around them. And due to a weird algorithm, a lot of the time, that'll be more of those caves, cryolabs, and UC listening stations.
Yep.
Even the main quest of the game recycles these identical locations multiple times.
Oh, we were right there, man!
Outside of procedural places of interest, there's about 4 main cities in the game, around 30 small settlements, and just 82 unique locations. All this spread between 1,000 planets.
There is like some planets that have like their own like story to it, but it is very rare.
There's also a couple dozen temples scattered around, but these lose their charm quickly because, again, they're all the exact same, down to the enemy placement and even the same puzzle. These are also dotted around on random planets, so half the time you'll be finding these ancient, untouched temples next to a procedurally generated Taco Bell drive-thru. There's also a bug that shows most of the game's points of interest on a planet, and there it is, the most interesting place in the galaxy. Again, Todd wasn't lying. You can land anywhere on these planets. However, everywhere is pretty much the exact same. Planets in Starfield do have varying weather, atmospheric hazards, gravity, and signs of life. There's also some hills, sometimes some craters, and even a few planets with multiple biomes. But mostly, these planets are going to be looking the same, and you'll be trekking across incredibly repetitive, flat land on foot for hours.
All running.
Proper mountains in the game? Not really. Valleys? Nah. Rivers? What now? There are oceans, even some creatures in those oceans, but Bethesda took out underwater swimming, so we can't even see them. And hold on, does that say boundary reached after running just 20 minutes? What?
Yeah, the map's not really that big.
We hadn't landed on a planet at all. We'd landed on a small, randomly generated tile of a planet with almost nothing on. The tiles aren't even persistent with each other. Land on a bordering tile, and the last tile will look completely different. While there's not enough going on planets in this game, at the same time, the opposite problem. For a game about space exploration, nowhere is actually unexplored. Head to a barren moon in the middle of nowhere, well out into the furthest corner of the settled system, and you'll still land next to 3 old factories and a swarm of
That's a
pirates
cryo
not
station.
even 500 meters from the ship. You've just landed on a world with radiation storms, 200-degree temperatures, and acid rain. Oh look, there's a cave with some human remains. You're not exploring or discovering anything here. So what is there to actually do on these planets?
Absolutely
Well,
nothing.
you can scan and survey the geology and fauna.
Hell
like
no.
me. However, this basically boils down to just running around spamming the left bumper. Of course, there's also no index for any of this, so you can't even see what you've scanned. Also, again, no underwater swimming, so Bethesda went through all the trouble of modeling, designing, and texturing underwater creatures, only for them to never be visible to the player. You can scan them though.
Oh my god.
And mine materials and build outposts with them, which you can use to mine more materials, but outside of crafting and XP farming, it's a loop you can skip entirely by just looting or purchasing stuff. You can run through the same few heavily reused places of interest, and finally, complete the 1 or 2 incredibly basic Radiant fetch or kill quests that have a chance to spawn on them. But a few hours of running around the same small tiles of planets, clearing the same factories, mining the same rocks, and digging through the same piles of literal shit, and the charm begins to wear off.
This was me whenever I played it, and I skipped the story.
The game's 4 cities. They're not massive, and the performance is absolutely horrific in them. It's also 2023, and anytime you want to enter a building, there's a loading screen.
Oh, yeah.
Travel to a building, it will put you outside the front door. So that's 2 loading screens.
You can't keep getting away!
Again, this game requires an SSD to run. Also, this is the biggest city. There's like 400 people here, and it's in the middle of absolutely nowhere. It's also home to the largest and most advanced military force in the entire
My god, the
galaxy.
robots!
Walk just a few hundred meters away, and you'll find camps of pirates and mercenaries. Trying to get around the city? Good luck, because again, there's no actual surface map, so finding anything here is a complete nightmare. The NPCs, incredibly lifelike. Their facial expressions are quite something.
Why are they
Turns out,
doing that?
In the year 2330, gunshots don't phase anyone.
Nobody cares.
Todd has now also just completely given up on the concept of radiant AI. In Oblivion, NPCs had fairly in-depth day-to-day schedules. Here, they're just walking around randomly in silence, staring into your soul. Almost every named NPC in the game is now tagged as essential and unkillable. The AI in general, interesting too.
He's just standing in front of her.
Terrible in combat, weird spawns, glitching through walls, ascension. The enemy variety, overwhelming. 90% of them are bounty hunters with guns, pirates with guns, or angry religious people with guns.
Oh, f off, grasshopper.
There's also a few types of robots, and then a bunch of mostly passive animals. The combat itself is actually pretty decent, but there's not much of it. Add on to that most enemies being pirates, a faction you'll probably join early on, and now there's even less combat.
Yo guys, it's me, Charlie. Hey, did that guy just turn into sand?
The new lockpicking system. Very fun, and very rewarding. And for a game so heavily reliant on inventory management, maps, and menus, the UI here, absolutely horrific.
This is fucking bullshit. Okay?
Yeah.
These fucking assholes. These
Menus within menus, maps within maps. Todd has been known to streamline game features over the years, and Starfield is no different. Melee weapons. They're in the game, but there's not many. The ones that are there aren't modifiable, like they were in Fallout 4 and 76. You can still take gun mods off, but this time, you can't add them back onto other weapons. They just disappear. No armor and weapon dismantling. You can't loot outfits from NPCs' bodies. And the base building from Fallout 4 is here, but it's bare bones. There's no settler system, raids, or economy system, and the whole thing is pretty much pointless.
Oh, what am I doing?
To be fair, I would not be building a settlement if I have my own spaceship in this game. I would just much rather worry about the spaceship and just live off of that. Like, I don't need, like, the land area.
Previous games. People now see you through walls and platforms, and guards just teleport directly to you. Companions rarely crouch, and alert everyone, all the time. The game also has cartoonishly large vents peppered around buildings, conveniently placed in areas you need to sneak around. They're so big, you can literally sprint around in them. This is definitely a coincidence, and not because Bethesda didn't bother to lower the player hitbox when you're crouching.
Oof.
I think not.
The speech in Starfield? A big step up from 4. No voice actors means more varied dialogue options, and a more nuanced dialogue system. More chances to persuade and affect quest outcomes, less, give me money.
We are for the money.
Also, you can now actually see what your character's about to say. However, there's also a new persuasion system, and it uses multiple rounds of speech checks to pass.
Do you want to have sex with me?
Yes, I do.
I had such a headache with this system.
Not now.
Not a terrible idea, but Emil and the boys couldn't really be asked to actually write all these speech options, so instead, they just wrote a bunch of generic ones the game can pull from, meaning half the stuff you say here will make no sense at all.
Hey, Douglas, how's the wife?
She died.
Attaboy!
It's also still based on percentages, so you can just save and try again.
Do you want to have sex with me?
I'm not giving you my card.
While there's some incredibly believable persuasion here,
Maybe I can make an exception.
the dialogue itself, generally quite bland and boring.
Oh my god, I still have to talk to this bitch.
God, Sarah was so annoying.
Radiant quests.
It isn't real.
Another summit.
So in Starfield, they dialed it up to 11. Even a ton of the regular quests feel radiant. There's a ton of fetch and kill quests, and these are now even worse because of all the loading screens and menu digging.
I've waited years.
Need to speak to someone? Well, despite there being faster than light ship travel, Inter-system radio, internet, or messaging doesn't exist here. You're gonna have to travel a few light years and bear a few rounds of loading screens to have a 30-second chat, and then go through the same again to leave. A significant portion of the game could be
Yeah,
skipped.
I don't know why.
just
Like,
send
I
an
get
email.
Fallout not having that, but
You also have a
this
smartwatch
game not
used
having
for
that
the
is
entire game,
really
but
stupid.
can't talk or text someone on the same planet, but steal a paperclip, and everyone in every star system in the game instantly knows about it. Makes sense. A lot of the quests are linear, ending on one of two outcomes, and there's pretty much no interaction between different quest lines, or even factions. Their outcomes don't affect anything, and mean nothing. While there's less quests than Skyrim, you'll still be given a metric ton of them, and again, with over 1,000 planets and dozens of other locations, the boys at Bethesda didn't consider adding a sort by local option, meaning it's a nightmare to work out where they all are and get through them.
I don't remember that.
Okay, the quests aren't brilliantly made, but how about the world and story itself? This was Bethesda's first new universe in 25 years. They couldn't just coast on pre-established work here. They'd have to write this whole thing themselves from the ground up. But it's fine. Todd's got top writing talent. And him, Emil, and the rest of the writing team sat down to plot. First order of business? This game's setting. Let's make it extremely inoffensive and completely sanitized. Remember lads, we're gunning for a mainstream crowd here. We don't want to put anyone off. No mature themes, dark humor, nothing edgy at all. This is not Fallout in space. More like the Jetsons. So they design a game
Oh my
that's
God.
more akin to a children's show than a gritty, realistic space frontier. Most characters are dull, completely morally upstanding, straight arrows, with nothing to them. Even the pirates here are Nickelodeon tier. And the nightclub. Let's populate it with old men walking around in suits with briefcases, and a few Teletubbies dancing on stage. Yes, that's what a nightclub looks like. Also,
Yeah,
they have
totally.
an incredibly detailed dismemberment system with gore and other animations ready-made from Fallout 4. Let's get rid of it completely. This is despite the game already having a mature rating, by the way. And while there's no rover in this, we'll still put vehicles in the game. And even cool mechs. And even a whole story around those cool mechs. Can the player pilot them? No.
No.
We'll make it a plot point that that's illegal in universe. Okay. Only enemies can then. No. Not them either. We'll just add them as background furniture in one or two locations. So what about the actual story? Okay, hear me out. Starfield's universe has a series of massive wars set across multiple star systems. Let's set this game decades after any of that happens. Right? Will there be alien characters?
No.
No, not really. Just people, some alien animals, and plants. We're going for realism here. True sci-fi, with a grounded NASA punk art style. Also, let's add space wizards at the end, driving the entire plot of the game. The player's goal is to become
Not
strong.
even Jedi.
All we'll have them do is collect the same artifact, in the same temple, with the same puzzle at the end, 24 times. Nice.
What?
Then at the end of the game, they can jump to a parallel universe. But let's not get too crazy with this. They're all the exact same, with a 15% chance of one minor change, like a character becoming a potted plant. Brilliant.
That's
No one could
stupid.
predict
That's
anything.
really the story? I'm
Just
I'm
have to make
happy I
sure
skipped
that
all that.
hair-clipping glitch on the hunter character that would spoil who they are and the game's big reveal is patched before final release. Despite the issues, on launch, Starfield does amazingly. Bethesda says it's their biggest launch ever. It's the #1 bestseller on Steam despite being free with the Games Pass, and there's over 6 million players on launch. The user reviews, very positive. However, the honeymoon doesn't last long. After sinking a few hours into the game, the initial excitement wears off, and opinions begin to change. Not good. Todd, they're leaving negative reviews on Steam. Okay, now we've been through this before. Didn't handle it amazingly. We should just keep a level head here. Let these reviews simmer and ride out the storm. Log on to Steam. respond to the reviews. Each one.
Wait, they actually did that? I don't remember
Tell
this.
them their subjective opinions are objectively wrong. Boring? That's insane. Astronauts went to the moon a few times. There's nothing there. They weren't bored. That's good. Write that. Bad RPG mechanics? They must be playing the game wrong. Tell them to create a different character and try again. Then, what else? The loading screens? Well, have they considered the amount of data they're generating in those load screens? Great. Send that too. Emil also sees the backlash. He ponders for a moment. Was it possible their game actually had some issues? Could he have been wrong? No, he was right. It's the fans that were wrong. So he boots up Twitter and writes a 15-part thread on just that.
Holy shit.
However, shockingly, Bethesda's rebuttals are ineffective. On Steam, very positive slips to mostly positive to mixed, and by December, mixed to mostly negative. Todd blames the bad reviews on the game being too different.
What?
But it was alright. December 7th, 2023. It's awards night, and Todd takes his seat. Online, the game was getting blasted, but the critics would understand.
And Starfield. And the Game Award goes to...
I think it went to Baldur's.
Gate 3.
Yeah, I did. Get fucked.
Post-launch, Starfield's player numbers crater quickly. Within a month, 330,000 players on Steam dribbles down to 100,000. The next month, that becomes 40,000. And by December, the game has less than 10% of its original player base. It's not just players. The game is so boring, high-profile modders are just up and quitting in the middle of development. Okay, no bueno. They need to do something, and quick. So people at Bethesda man the desks and get to work on patches.
Things they probably should have done before
And within
launch.
a few months, miracles start to materialize. 60 frames per second.
Ooh.
A car. An eat food button. My god. They'd even added a map. However, any goodwill from patches instantly incinerated as they unveil paid mods for a third time and try to shift singular quest mods for $7 a piece.
Oh, they put in that stupid Bethesda shit that they did of like their coins.
The more you put into it, the more
Creation credits, yeah, they have that on Fallout.
Again. So what happened? Well, post-launch, a few articles on the game's development comes out, and we get a glimpse of the behind the scenes. Back in 2015, and full-scale production of Starfield was kicking off. For Bethesda, this is also a time of aggressive expansion. 180 people in a single building in Rockville in 2015 turns into 500 people spanning 4 development teams, cities, and multiple countries by 2021. And naturally, for development, this changes things. Individual developer
Fallout,
freedom goes
Skyrim.
down
They put it on
the drain.
Skyrim too.
People are now
The creation
forced to agree
credits.
to a
Oh,
strict development schedule.
that's honestly.
According to a former
That's something I really do hate that Bethesda's doing is where like you have to pay for mods that you can already download for free through like the actual like mod site deal, and I think Bethesda gets like a 70% cut of it. I think I could be wrong about that.
Some of the best features of Skyrim and Fallout 3 started out as random side projects they'd play around with during development. However, Bethesda's new games are made with a checklist design. Veer off it, and upper management won't be happy. So this experimentation is no longer possible. At the same time, a ton of bureaucracy, constant meetings, and a game that is now essentially designed by committee. Word on the street is, Todd is known to be an obsessive micromanager, so almost every creative decision runs through him. And with 500 people now under his belt, he's stretched thin. Emil Paliarulo is still the head writer, and his philosophy hasn't changed here. He likes to keep things simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid. This is my own personal rule for myself, right?
And why put in any effort writing a good story when players are just gonna make a paper aeroplane out of it?
And they're gonna throw them around the room, and they're never gonna see your story. Because they are gonna spend 30 hours making shacks.
He's also the design
That's
lead,
stupid.
and he's still absolutely raw dogging that too. No need for a proper, widely accessible, unified document to keep the 500 people working on the game informed and on the same page. Let's make the game itself a design document. Just write some notes in the game files as we go. The result of this, a very compartmentalized development with a ton of siloed game features that never interact with each other. Mechs that are designed, textured, and coded, and then barely appear outside of a single mission. And systems like zero gravity that again are only used a handful of times. After negative internal feedback on gameplay, they'd also pivot direction massively mid-development, and a ton of systems central to the game were trimmed, and Starfield goes from a more survival and resource-oriented game to something more casual. Fuel consumption, punishing planetary hazards, and the necessity of outpost building, all either scrapped or nerfed to the point of being irrelevant. In the past, Todd has said he builds his games starting with the world, and then builds everything out from there, finding the fun as they go along. However, for Starfield, that happened in the final year of development. It took around 7 years to find that fun, and for the vast majority of people, it was nowhere to be found. Despite the patches and DLC, the damage had been done. Starfield's player base continued to dwindle.
Oh yeah, I heard the DLC sucked for this game.
In 6 months of launch, 97% of its Steam players gone. On Steam, for Skyrim, it took around a decade before players dipped below 20,000. For Fallout 4, that took around 5 years. For Starfield, it took 3 months.
Oof.
As of 2025, Fallout 4 has 6 times the Steam players, Skyrim around 7. The developer's original intent for the game was to be a long-term platform for annual expansions, but with these player numbers, not sure about that. Even on Bethesda's communication channels, months of
I kind of wonder where it is now since it's gotten its 2.0 update and now it's on PlayStation also.
silence on the game. No patches for almost half a year. Had they up and quit too? But then in March 2025, a tweet. The game is not dead yet. A patch even comes out in May. Some bug fixes, creation kit additions, and a new, very low graphical setting. Nice. And with a presumed second expansion for Starfield in the works, the game's remaining players wait for details, with a sea of paid creations to keep them busy in the interim. But for the third time now,
Baldur's Gate 3.
Todd leaves the Game Awards empty-handed. The industry was not the same as it once was. The competition is now hot. The tech, incredibly impressive. But this next project was different. Bethesda's forte.
We still know nothing about this.
Mess it up.
Damn. Well, I mean, they kind of messed up a lot with their game, honestly. Wait.